but the quotes in this novel scream the Tortured Poets department. I think this was the first poetic and whimsical book that I have ever read, and for that it has a special place in my heart. Hello, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I'm pleased to meet you. My name is Alexandra. I hope you stay here for a while. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the list of books that I think feel like the Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift. Before starting, quick disclaimer, I have not picked a book for each song of the album. I just thought of the whole vibe, like the overall vibe of TTPD, and I chose whimsical, poetical books to match with the album. So without any further ado, the first book on my list is If We Were Villains by Emil Rio. This is a dark academia novel about a group of friends and colleagues in college that study theater and Shakespeare. As the roles played by some get switched with the roles played by others, and people that usually got secondary roles are now chosen for leading roles, problems start to arise, and one of them is found dead. 10 years into the future, the detective chosen for the case, the one who closed the case, is retiring, and he goes to prison to visit Oliver, the one he put behind bars for murder. And only then he gets to listen and find out the whole story. I don't know about you, but in terms of vibes, I feel like any dark academia book would match with the Tortured Poets Department. I feel like the Tortured Poets Department is all about dark academia. So that's mainly why I chose this book, and that's also the reason why I chose the next one, which is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is very similar to If We Were Villains. It has the same style and kind of the same subject. It also follows a group of elite college students who study Greek under the guidance of a very charismatic and mysterious professor. Our main character is Richard, and he becomes more and more entangled with the lives of his colleagues, and as a consequence, he discovers some of their dark secrets and a disturbing event that binds them all together. As much as it is a mystery, it also psychologically analyzes the characters, and that's very on brand for TTPD. It is a very character-driven book as opposed to plot-driven, and that applies to If We Were Villains too. The next book on my list is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is a fantasy novel that follows Evangeline Fox, who for as long as she can remember has believed in true love and happy endings until she hears that the love of her life will marry somebody else. Desperate to stop the wedding, she strikes a deal with the wicked Prince of Hearts. His part of the deal is to stop the wedding ceremony, and her part of the deal is to give him, in return, 3 kisses at any given time or place. Soon, however, she discovers that she made a mistake and that the Prince of Hearts might actually have bigger plans for her. This is one of the whimsical, poetical books that I have on my list, and if I had to choose a song from the Tortured Poets Department, I think it would be Guilty as Sin. I know it has been very popular on Book Talk and on BookTube, but in case you haven't read it yet, you should give it a try. Then another book that feels like the Tortured Poets Department is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is an adult contemporary novel, but it also has elements of historical fiction, and it follows Monique Grant, an unknown reporter that one day gets chosen by the star Evelyn Hugo to tell her life's story. As Monique visits Evelyn more and more, she finds out about the show business in the 80s. She, of course, finds out about the seven husbands, about forbidden love and platonic love. She starts to feel close to Evelyn, but as the story is slowly coming to a conclusion, it starts to be obvious that their lives are intersected in tragical ways. This is representative of TTPD, especially because it talks about how damaging can media be in celebrities' lives. Think of a song like Cassandra, for example. And I mean, of course, this would work for Reputation too, but because it has snippets of like newspapers, and so I think it's more fit for the tortured poets department. Then we have yet again a poetic book, and that is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is a YA fantasy about Elizabeth, a girl who has been raised in one of the great libraries of the kingdom. She has grown among magical grimoires, and she hopes to one day become a warden for one of the libraries. One day, an act of sabotage releases the library's most dangerous grimoire, and Elizabeth is somehow implicated in the crime. Not having much of a choice, she teams up with her sworn enemy, a sorcerer called Nathaniel Thorne. I know this might sound as a great enemies to lovers book, but please don't read it for the romance. It does have a little bit of romance, but the story is not really about that. It is concentrated more on the magical system, the mystery of it all, and especially the power of words. Next we have The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is a YA contemporary told in verse. We have to take a second to applaud that. I feel like not many people are talking nowadays about novels told in verse. It follows Xiomara, a 15-year-old Afro-Dominican girl, and it depicts her story as she grows up feeling unheard in a family with strict and very religious parents. She finds her power through writing poetry, and by writing, she starts to express her thoughts and feelings more and to fight against the high expectations placed upon her. This novel explores themes such as identity and the fight between personal desires and familial obligations, and it personally reminds me of the Tortured Poets department for the unique way in which the story is presented. Next up, we have The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This is a YA paranormal fantasy, and it is told in the most whimsical way possible. It tells the story of a group of boys looking for a dead Welsh king and a girl, Blue, born in a family of psychics, but she, however, is not a psychic. The boys are looking for the dead king so that he can grant them a wish, and the girl somehow gets caught up in their sinister and strange world. Every year, Blue and her mother go to the cemetery so her mother could talk to the souls, like the ghosts of people who are going to die within the following year. And this year, however, is the first time Blue herself sees a ghost. To that, she is told that the only reason why she, as a non-seer, could see a ghost is if she is their true love or if she killed him. Soon she finds out that the ghost was of one of the boys in the group. I think this was the first poetic and whimsical book that I have ever read, and for that it has a special place in my heart. Then I have a novel that I have not even finished yet, but I just know that it has a place on this list, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I am currently reading this book, and I am even filming a vlog of finishing my current reads, but this book has me hooked. This is a fantasy story about a city whose name was one day forgotten, erased from history and from everyone's minds, and replaced with the name of Weep. Laszlo Strange, our main character, had been fascinated with the city long before the name was forgotten. One day, an opportunity arises, and he might get the chance to travel to Weep in hopes of helping the people there with a persisting problem. Thus, he has the chance to possibly find out what happened to the city long ago and what issue he will help fixing. As I said, I haven't finished this book yet. I am only on page 135, but the quotes in this novel scream the Tortured Poets department. And even now that I think about it, I think they are kind of similar to like Folklore and Evermore. And for that to be clear, let me share some of the quotes with you. I think a very interesting perspective is that of the dream chooses the dreamer, not the other way around. And one of my favorite quotes from this book are the following. It was impossible, of course, but when did that ever stop any dreamer from dreaming? Another quote that I really liked was when someone asked Laszlo to guess what happened and what the problem of Weep is, and she said, "You can do better, I know you can. You're a storyteller. Dream up something wild and improbable. Something beautiful and full of monsters." Beautiful and full of monsters? all the best stories are. This just screams poetic, and there is not any other album more fitted for it than the Tortured Poets department. The sun is slowly but surely breaking up with me again, but we have reached the final book on my list, which is Love Letters to the Dead by Ava De Leyra. This is a YA contemporary that explores themes such as grief, healing, and identity, and it revolves around Laurel, a high school freshman, coping with the recent death of her sister. As a part of an English assignment, she starts to write letters to deceased icons such as Kurt Cobain and Amy Winehouse, and through writing these letters, she delves deeper into her emotions, her experiences, and she analyzes the complexities of life. Just as the Poet X, this book highlights the importance of writing when dealing with hardships, with loss, or with grief, and that truly embodies the Tortured Poets department. And that was it. I hope you liked my list of recommendations. If you have read any of the books that I have mentioned, please let me know if you liked them. Also, I think it's the first time you're seeing my bookshelf behind me, so if you're interested in a bookshelf tour, I have this one and I have one more shelf over there. Let me know if you're interested in a bookshelf tour because I will make that happen. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video soon. Bye!